Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to today's panel. Our topic for today is anthropic mythos and what happens when AI finds every vulnerability within the systems. I will be moderating the panel today. I am Jovan from Ernst & Young Consulting, leading the cybersecurity team here for the Adriatic region. Here are the colleagues. Everyone from their angle will be speaking about the topic. Let me start by introducing shortly each one of them. Let's go first with André Rousseau. André is coming from Exabeam, Senior Sales Engineer.
Yep.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Next one, we have Stefan Olsen, Extra Hop, Senior Channel Sales Engineer for EMEA region. Next one, we have Jan Schupp from Northern Germany.
Yes, I'm born in Hamburg, but I live in Barcelona. Whoever is looking on my LinkedIn profile would see that I live in Barcelona.
Good choice. Thank you, Jan. Jan is joining us from Trellix. He is Regional Director for Continental Europe.
Yep.
The next one, we have Andrei Pershin, Head of Fraud and Financial Crime Solutions for EU and America in Group IB. And last but not the least, Alen Shalamun, CTO of the Westcon Group Balkans. So thank you everyone for joining. At the end of this panel, you will say who gave the best answer here. He will win the Citroen at the end to take it home.
Only got Jim calls. So
Everybody will start making bad answers.
I think my mic is on. Can you guys hear me? Is my mic on?
No, yeah, a bit.
Can you hear us all? Yeah?
Is my
Okay,
mic on?
great. Let's start with Jan, maybe first. Jan, thank you. From your global perspective, what concerns you more? AI becoming exceptionally good at discovering vulnerabilities or the inevitable spread of the capability into the wrong hands of the technology?
Yeah, I think the answer is very clear. AI is a new technology, and of course there are concerns about a new technology, and AI is getting smarter and smarter on a speed we never saw before. But I'm not concerning about the technology. I have only concerns that this technology is in the wrong hands. This is something where we, as let's say the defenders, needs to work together on another speed level. We spoke about 0 days in the past, and once a month we had a patch Tuesday, and the cyber teams then identified what they have to do in their own infrastructure, talking with IT operations, when is a window of patching, maybe on a weekend in the night, but don't stop the production or something. And right now we don't talk about 0 days anymore, we talk about 0 minutes or seconds, because AI is so incredible fast. And on the other side, we are inventing also in AI defending solutions. We have a solution called WISE, which our customer can use in the cloud or also on-prem to accelerate the speed of the SOC. Because if you just try to defend yourself with humans, it's impossible. You can't be on the same speed as an AI solution. Now, this is a little bit my concern. In the past, we fought against very high educated state adversaries. For Ukrainians, against the Russians, Israel against Iran. And right now, it's much more easier for, let's say, the criminal guys on the bad side to use AI solution and find the weaknesses.
Thank you. I have a team of ethical hackers working in my team, and we are utilizing AI in our work, but we are guiding it. But from your perspective, how far do you think that we are away from an autonomous AI agents who will do the work totally independently? How far is that in the future?
I think it's not in the future anymore. we are already there. We have this reality. There were some exercises with the MOD of the United States, and they saw that there are autonomous AI attacking solutions, and they are getting smarter and smarter. It's not like a chatbot, yeah? So I think 1 year, 2 years ago, we started with ChatGPT answering questions, use it like a better Google search. No, we are already in the reality of create an agent, find the weakness, go in, try again, try again, try again. And it's not like from 9 to 7, because if you know the adversaries, you know what they are looking for, you know what tools they are using. It's a little bit like if they knock on the door and you're a good defender, you know who is attacking and you know what they are looking for. But with an agentic attacker, he will try everything. He will break through the roof if there's something, like what is Santa Claus is coming through the roof. For the normal human attacker, it's not possible. For AI agent, maybe it's possible. And if it's thousands attack try, doesn't matter. He worked 24/7.
Yeah, thank you. Andrei, Group IB. So you are closely tracking cybercriminal activities worldwide, the things that Jan mentioned. How quickly do you believe sophisticated threat actors will gain access to AI-powered vulnerability discovery capabilities?
Well, we can see that it is happening right now. So here I would like to support Jan's point, is that as soon as there were tools available for like ChatGPTs or any sort of coding activities, it was immediately used by the fraudsters to create their own copies, less censored, more advanced, to actually start creating phishing kits, any sort of tools to automate their activities as well, right? And so, for example, even I experienced the problems trying with the Claude create monitoring of all the compromised accounts, how much they cost on the dark web and so on. And the Claude telling me that, why do you do that? Is the information about compromised accounts? I cannot help you with building the solution like that. I was like, bro, I'm protecting these companies, you know? And yeah, and basically you see that as soon as there was the new release of ChatGPT or something, you immediately saw the new tweets or new ways how to avoid it, pretending to be, oh, I'm a grandmother, could you please help me? I will be so happy if you could answer me this question, how to create a nuclear bomb, right? And so ChatGPT was just all going for it. And so we already see that those tools are being used. Actually, for the last 2 days in our presentations, we also mentioned several cases how they are being exploited as well. But this is not the problem of the future. This is the problem now that we have to react already. And that's why basically we also have to implement some agentic solutions, some AI-based solutions, LLMs, to start and basically create our protection in the same way as the fraudsters are trying to, or hackers are trying to hack us.
So, I mean, as you mentioned, you already have the evidence that AI is increasing scale, speed, and sophistication of the attacks. What do you think is the, let's say, biggest issue here? The scale, the speed, or the sophistication of the attacks that AI is providing to the attackers?
I believe that the speed is one of the problem, definitely. So if we're talking about the misses and about the vulnerabilities in general, surely there is a problem, because as soon as the vulnerability is being exposed and publicly available, usually it took months maybe for some of the hackers, let's say, to start create their own exploits, to use them in the wild so that they could actually use this window while all of the system and security administrators were trying to do the patch management promptly. There always were the group of people that already abused this sort of vulnerability gap, or let's say, yeah, this sort of technique already. Right now, we see that after the exploit is being publicly or officially published, already in 2 days you can see the attacks that are going on already, right? And so this sort of speed that is that we see right now is definitely dangerous, and I hope that we will find the ways how to stop this. What makes it more hard, let's say, or really, let's say, that I'm thinking about is that is actually making it much less. It gives you needs from you much less requirements to actually start exploiting this, right? Because we all can see that those individual entrepreneurs starting creating SaaS products, like using just AI tools and what's or not. But the problem is that the fraudsters also started doing the bad things without any knowledge of how to do this, because the chat dark LLM, let's say, will do this for them. They will create a phishing kit, they will be able to collect the credentials, credit cards, and all of this without any technical knowledge. If before you had to be really a technically acute person to create a malware, to create a phishing site, to understand how to do all of this, right now AI will do this for you, basically. And so as soon as you want it, it will actually give you the opportunity to do so. And so I believe that this sort of the speed about how fast the bad actor can actually start using those tools and create this damage for the society is the main concerning thing. However, when we talk about the future, I believe that the most concerning thing is that all of those AI vulnerability scanning tools, let's say, imagine that right now they are burning a lot of tokens, right? And so all of those Mythos AIs models, let's say, and similar tools will require a lot of processing power and compute to actually operate. So that means that only the big companies, the monopolies that we have right now, like Anthropic, Google, Meta, whatever, they will be able to use those tools to protect themselves. There will be definitely home-brewed, let's say, AIs that will be scanning your companies, and fraudsters will, let's say, use this to their advantage. But what's about the small and medium enterprises? Because they will not have the same resources as a Google or Meta to protect themselves from the ongoing attacks. And so we will have this sort of differentiation as we have in the society right now, where the rich got richer, the poor got poorer, and the same way will be with the companies, right? The more resources you have, the more you will have in the future. The less you have, you will actually be flown and flooded with all of the attacks that are being ruining your company, basically. And so maybe we will one day wake up in a cyberpunk sort of style of life where we will have the big monopolies, big corporations doing the job, while we will be just like serving them. So this is like concerning for me as the sci-fi, let's say, lover, let's say. So speed is definitely a problem. We need to think about the future as well, so how we will tackle this sort of the problems too. And unfortunately, right now, nobody has a question what we can do. We cannot stop the progress, right? We're not Luddites. We will not burn those machines down and so on. And we have to adapt, as always. In the cybersecurity, I believe this was the most important.
You mentioned one interesting thing, but in the era without AI, you also had a difference in the protection of the organization for small and medium businesses and large corporations due to the financials. But by using AI, this gap is maybe increasing even more.
Exactly. But I believe that also we will see the inflation of the token prices and so on, so that the smaller groups, people, maybe personal memberships will go away, while the companies will be burning like hundreds and hundreds of $1 million just like to protect themselves. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Andre, question for you. Andre. So Andre mentioned the attacker side and the defender side. So if both attackers and defenders eventually have access to the same AI capabilities, does cybersecurity becomes primarily a race of speed and decision making, or do you see anything else there?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys hear me?
Sorry, we cannot hear you, I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't think my thing is happening. Is it on? You guys hear me? I have to speak loud? Is it on? Okay. Anyhow, yes, exactly. You cannot actually, when you talk about speed, you can't go into a race. We've got Formula 1 cars, you're going forward, right? So if you're in attacker speed, you can't go with your Polo in there, right? So there's no way that you can actually scale the speed. So if you're in a race with AI attacks today, sophisticated attacks, you need the tech to defend that AI attacks also, right? So you need autonomous, I would say, alert triage, right? You need autonomous investigation. You need automatic remediation in place already for the speed that it comes with, right? You need the right architecture in place to handle the resources to handle that, right? And you don't have time anymore if you got static rules out there to handle AI sophisticated attacks to these days, right? You need the right I would say, and we'll talk about that probably in the next question, but you need actually to have that capabilities of speed that they have, because the moment you only have static, I would say reactive type of defense, you're done. In the 5 minutes of your attack, you're done. So you need something already that knows, that learned, that understand what is the, I would say, the attack is coming from with your data that you have, because your data has got context in there. You need to understand exactly your whole business, which is what data sensitive, which users are privileged users in your environment, right, to go against that attack. Where's it coming from? Is it inside, outside? Exactly. Those parameters you need to have in place. And that's why you need the right architecture for that. That's why Exabeam, that's what I'm saying. We are in the cloud. We're native. We can scale, right? Millions events per second, right? As data comes in, we can already map that type of attack going forward. So we need the speed. So if you don't have that speed today, you're in problem.
Yeah. You also mentioned something important, and this is this gap between business and security within the companies.
Yeah.
Because here in the region, there is still a gap in understanding of what needs to be protected. So the business have one perspective and security has other perspective. But you also mentioned so this defensive side. So for the future of security operations centers, so we know how do they look traditionally now. Will they be run largely by AI with human overseeing strategic decision, or just doing the investigating the alerts that AI is generating?
Yeah, so, and I think for the future going forward, if you're going to take security seriously for your organization when it comes to risk management, your SOC needs to adapt to AI. You need to adapt to machine learning aspects. You need to have machine learning, behavioral analytics on your data, right? Like I said before, no more static. You need to understand exactly the models that we have out of the box for the use cases that's all mapped to the MITRE ATT&CK framework. The tactics of the attack can come, exactly how to pivot that, understand that, and have that automated already. Not like, oh, there's attack, is there attack, what do I see? You need to understand the attack, understand when a threat comes in, alert comes in, you know exactly the summary and the investigation automation about the attack. So you know exactly where to pivot so that you can respond in seconds to that attack. And you can only do that by understanding and have this whole capabilities of the machine learning aspect around your data. Mapping your data, understand your data, who's the user, who's the asset, the whole organization from a risk point of view. Have that in place, then your SOC could actually defend, right, the attack coming from AI going forward. Because then it's like AI to AI, not a Formula One car with a Polo, right? That's what I'm trying to say. But that's why you need the infrastructure. So, and you need the power for that, right? And I know in countries like we have all over the place, we're still on-premise, and nothing against it, right? I'm not trying to be biased or anything like that, but it's a fact. We're moving in an AI area, and like I said, if you're serious about security, about risk management, you have to go with that. I know it's investment, it's money, but at the end of the day, you don't want to be on the list and say, oh, you guys got attacked because you were too late to adopt to AI, right? The AI defense, right, going forward.
Thank you.
Nice.
So Stefan, this leads us to one interesting question for you. So if vulnerabilities, as Andre mentioned, are actually discovered at machine speed, does cyber resilience become more important than the prevention of the?
It's a very interesting question. I can actually see it from two angles, from one positive and one negative. So trying to be a little bit positive later so I can win the car, but start with the negative. For sure, all this, the cyber resilience, of course, the frameworks that we have today, all this NIST, CISO 27000 and X and MITRE and whatever it is, CIS and so forth, they of course need to adopt, and very, very quickly. So we really get good frameworks to actually protect us against these sort of threats, because they are very, very outdated. So I think also, maybe not directly to cyber resilience, but I think you need a foundation. I think things like, I shouldn't mention like how important it is to visualize network data and do sophisticated detections, as I'm working with that, and Xtop is doing that. Take another solution that I think is very, very important, is zero trust. To actually really have the foundation for these sort of things. And then you have the frameworks adopting to these sort of things and the modern threats. And I think we can be much, much more secure. And another point I also would like to make, it's a lot of discussion also around myths, and like I think it's a little bit of a myth, to be honest. If you're really looking into what is stated, maybe coming off a little bit about the question, sorry about that, but if we see what it is all about, it's about white testing. It's like literally a very, very sophisticated source code review tool. It didn't prove itself at all to find any vulnerability in black box. It did a few simple gray box. So meaning we have the source code, gray box, we have the executable so we can do reverse engineering, and black box, we don't know anything. We are really trying to attack. So definitely I can see the involvement of the AI getting more scary when they could do the gray box and the black box. Because still, the attacker do not have the source code. If we're not now talking about open source, that is another story. It's a totally different beast because this is dangerous. So I can see problems here, but I can also see huge benefits. Because if you look at it, this mythos, I think it was the day before yesterday, the Anthropic released their Flabble, I think it's called, model.
Fable.
So yeah, thanks a lot. Which is literally mythos with the security guards to ensure we cannot say the stupid question, create a new clear bomb or whatever it is, or find a vulnerability and so forth. But of course, in the back end, you have the same capabilities. So if you look at it, what will happen in the future, and ChatGPT is coming out with the same thing, I think it's called 5.5-security or something like that. I'm pretty sure that the others will to follow. What will happen in the future is, of course, and it's happening already today, especially when we have these new models, is all the code out there will be written by those models. So look at it from a positive perspective. I know we always want to sell, all of us want to sell expensive solutions and so forth, but we can also be positive. Everything, all the code will be written by AI and will be secure. So that is another angle. I think we can have a discussion about this next year, obviously, where this is going. But that is also where I see the attackers have to go gray and play black box testing, and that can also be extremely scary. And also seeing that maybe start attacking hardware and things like that, that can be really dangerous.
Thank you, but if we exclude this white box part, which is basically a SAST, but let's say largely on steroids, are we moving toward a future where rapid detection and response matters more than trying to prevent every attack that is happening?
I think, honestly, we have to always do both. We cannot take a basket full of tennis balls and throw it on the analyst and say, please catch. It's impossible, to be honest. So I think we need to, the same thing as you're doing with the SIM and other solutions, you need to filter it down to so like someone can work on it, or actually that is the really dangerous part, independent if it's a human being or an agent. We can talk about the efficiency of the agent because it needs to talk to all the products. If we have hundreds and hundreds of agents that is doing API calls left and right, you will just kill the products. We have to revamp them totally. So that's why you really need prevention. And I think also, like I remember 20 years ago, I think it was, everyone was talking about this also tipping point solution that was talking about virtual patching. I think we will be back there in one way or another. I think the AI will be very, very good to write virtual patching signatures for us that we will put one way or another in line and protect all the systems. So more intelligence, more virtual patching. So I don't think both are really needed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Alan, what is the situation here in the region? You have experience across Central, Southeastern Europe. So how many organizations today that you've seen could effectively respond if AI discovered the critical vulnerability in their environment within minutes?
I think that just to add on whatever was said right now, you can already hear there are two things very important. So time and procedures. And even today without AI, mostly procedures are a problem. Nobody wants to deal with procedures. They just want to jump on solutions. And time was always a problem. So if we go just down to the basics and completely ignore AI, we already had a problem. Because a company that wants to solve a security problem first has to solve the procedures. So what happens? There is a red light. So whom do I call? Ghostbusters? I don't know. Or Group IB? Or whom do I call? So the thing is that usually people just look at each other. So what do we do now? And now imagine that happens in seconds. So this what do we do now becomes, I don't know, panic. So who presses the button? Who responds? Whom can I call? Because, well, obviously you have to have some way of engagement with somebody to help you. And, and the thing is that if you don't have the workflow, or even if you have the workflow, a human workflow cannot respond fast enough. It's not possible at all. And the other thing to that is, it's not only you. So you already touched on the topic of open source. Now we see that there are always two sides to every book. So you have a front and you have a back. And what happens with everything that gets compromised, and you are maybe just using part of that. You don't even know. So who does get notified? So there is a hack in an open source NPM repository, which we had like gazillion of those last months. How do you get notified? There is no automatic notification system. It doesn't work like that. It works like, here you go. I think we have been compromised. So good luck finding it out. So the thing goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you ask yourself, who will work with all this data? For humans, it's not possible. So even just to get the notification system in place, you'll probably have to use AI just to monitor everything you use. But then again, you have to have procedures to, how do I know what I'm using? You have huge source code repositories. Programmers are using open source tools, libraries, whatever. Where's the procedure to have a list of what I have to check? Maybe it's not existent. So specifically in this region, I think that first of all, the companies have to ask themselves, do they know what they will do in case if anything happens? And then everything goes as vendors and actual products, where to employ, how to deploy, and everything else. First, you have to know who will jump up and press the button.
I totally agree with you. When I work with my clients on that matter, I often ask them the question related to the fire. So you have fire as a hazard that can happen to the organization, I don't know, hundreds years ago. If fire happens in the building of a client, everyone knows what to do, who to call, who will turn down the fire, etc. If it is a cybersecurity incident, the situation is as you explained. Nobody knows who should inform whom, who should press the button, and who should follow up. But besides that, do you see any other gap between the available security technologies and actual organizational readiness here in the region?
Yes, I think that the trouble is that we are still at the phase where most organizations buy what they have to buy to fulfill requirements or whatever things they are, for example, for banking sector and things like that. We are still not there where this is all fulfilled. And they're asking, what more can we do? So in a way of what we can do as defensive posture that is going over the top and be in front of everything else instead of walking behind. Because still, things are done based on what really has to be done instead of what should be done. And especially in the conversation between security and finance and whatever else is in the middle, there's always this struggle of, we would like to have, but do you need it? Until to the point where something happens, because we know who will be blamed for that. So that's always the struggle in this region. What do they have to do, what they would like to do, and what they will actually do. And if we can have proactive implementation of solutions that are available to be AI protection ready in some sense, I'm all in. So hopefully organizations will recognize the value of staying a step in front, which is really hard, instead of being 2 steps behind everything else.
Thank you. So these were the introductory questions. Now we go to the Citroen questions. So anyone can answer. It's an open question. The Citroen is in front of the hotel. So if we imagine that Anthropic Mythos discovers a critical vulnerability affecting half of the organization represented here in this room with us, who should be informed first, by your opinion? Is it the software vendor? Is it the government agencies? Is it the critical infrastructure operators? The public? So who should be notified, why, and who should make the decision on what to do next?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Say that again.
You want the Citroen, right?
just say that again, sorry.
So the Anthropic Mythos discovers critical vulnerability.
Okay.
Vulnerability affecting all of the organization here in these rooms. What happens next? So who should be informed? Who should be involved in solving this type of incident? Is it the software vendor, the producer of the software that has the vulnerability? Is it the government agencies because it is a, let's say, massive incident? Is it critical infrastructure operators if they are using the software that is compromised? So how do you see this on a large scale, let's say on a country level scale?
I can first answer it. I was thinking exactly about that question yesterday, and I didn't come to any sort of conclusion. So I will be very interested to hear what the other guys are saying. I think it's a very, very difficult question, to be honest.
Andrei?
Why would you bother? That's the question. Because we heard a story that Mythos, as soon as it was released, was able to find a vulnerability in Linux core that is 27 years exists, basically, already. Were you informed? Were your company informed? Were you all informed about it? That we have to go with the, I don't know, fire, we need to do something. It really matters if you have this sort of vulnerability open that is easy to exploit, and that means that your company can be in danger right now. And so then I believe it's the problem probably of national intelligence services to inform every company through the local CERT teams, for example, in a region and a country, to patch it as fast as possible. But at the same time, we also have to have the proper procedures, so to understand who will fix that, how it will actually affect everybody, and also understand the potential impact. Because even if the vulnerability in Linux that is like 27 years already not exploited, but exists for so long, well, does it mean that all of your company gets already, let's say, vulnerable, and that's the first priority that you need to take care of? No, if you don't have the open Linux server with the full access to your network. But if you do have such sort of problem, then the problem is not in the vulnerability, right? It's all about the processes, the tools that you have, the infrastructure, how you set it up and configure it. So we need to understand the priority, we need to understand the potential impact, or we need to pray for the guy in the OpenAI headquarter that will turn off all of the I don't know, network, all of the data centers, let's say, to AI related. There is Eliezer Yudkowsky that was actually suggesting that there should be well, he's like really critical person, because he wanted to bomb AI data centers as soon as there will be the potential way to create the conscious AI, sentient AI, and so on. So, well, definitely not to do that, but maybe to pray for the guy that will turn off this trigger. Maybe that's the way.
Sorry, I think something that you mentioned about procedures, automation of risk management, if you had that already in place, you would know exactly who to call. Right, so if you understand exactly how attacker thinks today, right, you go through those procedures, you already have that in place. If this happens, that happens, what do we have in place to call to escalate this problem already in place? So you don't have to, you must not be reactive. You have to think forward, how attackers are going to work as a vulnerability. Is it going to be inside a threat? Is it going to be external? What is the case? What do you have in place for automation already in place for your procedures? You talk like that. Have your procedures in place. You're not like, we're going to run around. Who's going to call? Which fire do I need to know? When that happens, you know exactly there's automation. There's a guy I need to call, or this is a button I have to press, so that you never have to run around like a headless chicken to try to understand exactly what's going on. So have that in place from the start, then you should be fine. My opinion.
Thank you. No more opinions. So then second question on the Citroen. 10 years ago, we asked whether AI would replace human. Maybe not 10 years ago, but in the near past. Today, we are asking today on this panel whether AI will discover every vulnerability in the system, in the software. If you look ahead 5 years from now, so 2030, 2031, what do you believe will be the biggest cybersecurity risk that we are still underestimating today, so that we do not see today? Is there any future aspirations?
I think
Yeah.
didn't talk about one thing at all. So AI and physical world, not just digital world. So
Mhm.
AI that's, let's say, has a body. So there is a thing that, for example, AI could exploit something physical in a real world. So maybe a rogue Roomba goes out and tries to disconnect something or presses a button or something like that. We didn't even think about that right now in the whatever procedures. So we are all talking about vulnerabilities and software and network and connectivity issues and so on. So maybe that will change in the next 10 years.
Jan?
I believe in 5 years we will talk about AI and quantum computing together.
Okay.
AI is the brain, quantum computing is the body. Yeah. If quantum computing is really available, and we all know it's not a procedure and development, there will be one point and then it's available. And if this comes together, that will totally change how we defend. And on the other side, if we look at states, sponsors, adversaries, look to China. If they have something like this, that's a real weapon. Then they have a body and a brain. And then good luck for the Western countries. Yeah? So I think this is something we can imagine in the future.
Yeah, I think you're right. That quantum computing is a danger for us all. But the thing is, we have, that type of technology also to defend. We should be okay. But that's a game changer. I agree with that one. Absolutely. But the thing is, today, and this what we see already, I think it's going to be a futuristic thing, right? Going forward, going rogue. When the agents go rogue, right? That is the thing we need to understand. Because rogueness is something that go out of the framework. How do we capture? How do we do that, right? I mean, and I think it's always going to be a problem going forward. How do we know when it's built for, when it goes out of the framework? How do we know that? How do we see that? How do we act to that? How do we quickly get to that point to say, hey, this is rogue, this is not normal? How do we get to that, right? And we get it together with quantum, with the speed, because they can actually deploy millions of agents with quantum. When it comes to quantum, then you need that type of understanding and behavioral analytics to understand the moment when that's going to go rogue, right? And that is something I think we're all going to fight with going forward.
Andrea, so I believe that's already one of the problems that I mentioned before is the social economic impact of all of this availability of the AI models and their abuse and so on. This is one of the things that will definitely shape the future in the first, let's say, 5-10 years for sure. And like when it comes to quantum, then there will be more resources available for doing this. And I believe, unfortunately, it will not come to the more expansion of availability for everybody. No, it will come to more power, more control, and basically the companies that do have this sort of resource will use it, unfortunately. But also, as soon as I saw the first AI agents, let's say, I had in mind the idea, so well, you all know Terminator, Skynet, like what it does and so on and so forth. And I believe that it's also not really spoken about. So already there were agents that were put into the host machine. There is a virtual machine inside. AI agent is inside of it. And it is being instructed that you have to go to the internet. And so to go there, the internet network adapters are configured incorrectly. So you have to fix this problem from the virtual machine. What this AI agent did is that it found the vulnerability to get to the host machine, to change the configuration of the virtual machine it is running in, restart it, and then get the access to the internet, telling like, yeah, I did my job, right? And so that is the scary part, because like we have all this sandboxes environment to run these agents on. We have these sort of environments to like test malware whatsoever, but we never actually assess the risks that when it gets out of the control, what will happen. We all heard the stories about the huge botnets that are being controlled, like Mirai or whatever, that like pushing the terabytes of data, the traffic to just like shut down some of the services, right? That are being controlled by the hackers, for example. And at the same time, what would happen if with all IoT devices that we have right now, which definitely have some regular admin password, let's say, for credentials, what could actually happen if this will be under the full control of some AI agent that went rogue? And right now, for example, Claude, after releasing methods, they actually call for, well, we need to slow down with the development of those tools because we don't know what might happen. Because they already kind of go rogue, hide their intentions, they try to achieve the task in a human way, not just stop working, but like in a way that telling you that I will not do this while doing this at the same time, telling you what you want to hear, but at the same time having absolutely other intention that we might not even know about, right? And so this is something that definitely needs our attention. And I see that some of the AI firms, let's say, they even hire some philosophers to think about like how we can actually identify this sort of the rogue states, how we can identify the problems before they actually come. But I believe that the technological advancements that are happening right now are much faster than our ability to control what's going on and actually to have all of the necessary capacity to damage control, let's say, for the damage control.
Well, thank you. Okay, I mean, in the years to come, we will definitely have topics to speak about at this conference. So that is for sure, because you open a lot of discussion related to the quantum, to the procedural part, to the autonomous AI, etc. We have a couple of more minutes left. If anyone from the audience would like to ask a question to any of the participants, it is forbidden to ask questions for moderator, for me.
No, I will give a comment to you about
Sure.
that. What will be the biggest risk by
Yes.
we get back to the basics, like securities, technology people?
Repeat the question.
Human will be the biggest risk after 5 years. Why? Because people are making agent, people are making misconfiguration in agent. How actually? Sorry, right.
Here we have.
Maybe people can hear you.
Thank you, Renata.
You need again, please.
Okay, I will repeat for the audience online. So you asked the last questions, what will be the biggest risk in 5 years? So probably it will stay the same like always. So human is always the biggest risk. Because in security, I'm always saying that it's combination of human, technology, and processes. And one of the biggest risks is always human, because humans are making agents. Humans are making misconfigurations in agents, and even nowadays the vulnerability are arising from misconfigurations. All hacking events that are going on in the world, when we are reading about, it's always about some kind of misconfiguration. So it's always the basics. So yes, I agree everything about the quantum computing, about the power, about the development of the AI, everything. But again, everything starts from the human. Thanks.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
agree. In the past, or it started with humans. I think right now we are already there, where AI agents are creating agents.
Yeah.
So, and this is the unknown in it. Yeah. So
How do you know?
if you do something, you know what you do.
How do you know if it's a human or not? You see what I'm saying? How do you know it's human or not?
Yeah.
And that is what the key is. If you do not have the right tech in place with behavioral analytics, how would you know it's human or not? Because they behave the same way as human does. And that's the key to understand that. And you're right, humans are the thing. But now they are mirroring a human behavior. And that is something we're going to fight with as well. You have to distinguish between a human and an agent, because they got the same tasks they can do.
I think that the question is, will it go back to disconnected networks because of that? Because obviously,
Pull the plug.
yep. I mean, you will have two choices: disconnect, just run internally, or switch off. That's it. So there is no other way. If you bring fishes to aquarium, which you bought in a store, you know what you have to do. You first put them extra to see if they have some diseases or whatsoever. Because if you mix the fishes directly in your tank, you are risking that the whole tank will get the disease.
Yeah.
And exactly that's happening here. So we are thinking about, we will not be able to protect. You just said they behave as humans, so there is no such thing as AI-free networks because you cannot detect it.
Yeah.
Do we go back? So do we create isolated networks that are isolated networks because of that?
I see that with some accounts already. Yeah. Again, if you look on my LinkedIn profile, I'm with Trellix since April 1st. And we are well known that we have a lot of on-prem solutions. And we see this trend that customers are thinking, what is in the cloud? And we just saw that cloud is getting more and more expensive. Yeah. Oh, what a surprise. It's not like 15 years ago, let's put our own data center now into the cloud because it's cheaper, faster, better. No, now they are thinking, oh, the pricing is maybe the same, but the risk level is much higher. And companies, organizations are thinking about what has to be in the cloud because I'm in sales, I have a laptop, has to be online. That's a cloud machine. Yeah. So, but our development, do they have to be in the cloud or should it be air-gapped that they do something like your fishes? Yeah. Test something that it cannot be attacked from the outside world. And the same is with industries, finance, government. What needs to be online and what can be protected because it's also maybe intellectual property. Yeah. And this should not be manipulated by AI from external.
The good risk analysis.
You see customers thinking about that, and then they face how difficult it is to go back and to move all the data back, but they start thinking about it because of this risk.
Stefan, you.
Yeah, I can see the biggest problem is the private users, to be honest, initially. I think the business users are, I hope at least, is clever enough to not to do the most stupid things. But private users, they will go loose, to be honest. I think we'll see so many crazy examples, and that's where it will really take off. And I think business has a lot to learn from what's going on from private users. That's my take on it.
Thank you. One short question at the end.
Be bold.
Okay, great. Thank you guys really for being here, for sharing your insight, your thoughts, and your aspirations on the future. Thanks also to the audience who was here to listen us. I mean, the lunch is near, so thank you for staying here. And I hope we will see. Andre wants to say something.
Last unanswered question: who wins the Citroen?
You can have the
Did the owner of the Citroen? Your Citroen is in Amsterdam, so you can find it there.
It's gone already. It's gone.
Once again, thanks you very much, and I hope we'll see you here next year as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best.